Steve Dotto here. How the heck you doing this fine day? And welcome to Gray Matters, the podcast for boomers and Gen Xers. Our podcast typically has strayed away or kind of stayed away from being overtly political. I'm pretty sure anybody who tunes in on a regular basis recognizes that both Vivica and I lean towards the left side of the spectrum, both being born in Canada, me still living in Canada, although Viv now does live in the States. But we've not really taken on a lot of political topics. And today's podcast is not taking on what I consider to be a political topic either, although there will be some overtones to it. You see, August the 8th, just a few days from when this podcast will drop, is International Allyship Day. Now, I didn't know a lot about the term being an ally or what allyship was, although I've been hearing a lot more about it lately. But it kind of goes hat in hand with the whole concept of diversity and inclusion, which has been a bit of a hot topic and a bit of a football being kicked around in the political ranks. So therein lies a little bit of the political undertones for today's particular episode. One of the real leaders in the allyship space is Julie Kratz. She has a brand new book which is just dropping, so the time is perfect to bring her on to the podcast. So let me toss it over to Viv.
And so usually I'm like, hey, meet my friend who I've known forever. And then I introduce the person. But actually, Julie and I got together the old-fashioned way on LinkedIn. I think, Julie, you commented on one of my posts or vice versa. And that was that. We had a little conversation and I was like, you have to be on our podcast. So Julie has dedicated her career to allyship and inclusion. And after spending 12 years in corporate America, experiencing many career pivot points, we can all raise our hands to that, due to her own lack of belonging, like we're going to unpack that, she started her own speaking business with the goal of helping leaders be better allies, promoting allyship in the workplace. She helps organizations foster more inclusive environments so that everyone can feel seen, heard, and that they belong. I mean, what a beautiful world that we live in, that we actually have to foster that. Anyway, Julie's a professor at the Indiana University Kelley School of Business. She's a regular Forbes columnist on allyship and a frequent keynote speaker, podcast host, and a TEDx speaker. She's also the creator of Lead Like an Ally training program and the founder of the annual International Allyship Day program in New York City. She's got an MBA, certified master coach, a bunch of all that good stuff, and is the author of 7 books. So she outbooks me. 7 books, including We Want You, an allyship guide for people with power, Allyship in Action, 10 Practices for Living Inclusively, and the Little Allies children's book, and more. I freaking love that. Like, yeah, let's start them young. Let's start them young. Welcome to today's call.
Oh, what a lovely welcome. I feel such a sense of belonging right now.
We include you, and you're talking to your peeps here.
I love it.
But you haven't always talked to your peeps, so share some of your pivot points in your corporate life. Like, and what is that moment? Describe for us that moment or moments when you realized the system wasn't designed for you and that it needed to be changed.
Totally. And I'm sure listeners, you can relate. People of all identities, workplace was not really designed for the diversity that we have in the workforce today. It's kind of World War II, Mad Men era is still very, very commonplace in corporate.
Yeah.
And so I was raised by a single mom that told me the feminists had solved all the issues. And so the workplace was 100% fair for women. And I entered the workplace in 2000 and it's like, oh, wow, like it doesn't feel that way. Maybe it's me. So you kind of internalize the bias and the lack of inclusion. And so I did my best. And then I took a career break. I went to get my MBA at the Kelley School, which is where I teach now. So that's very
That's awesome.
And I did get time out because I was in construction and I was the only woman all the time and just not taken seriously. And undervalued and just all the things. So that was a really happy time, grad school. And then I went back to the real world at corporate for another, and again, found myself in like agriculture, financial services industries, just ones that are not super inclusive. Not that any industry has it figured out, but those certainly have
Yeah.
issues.
Yeah.
Just kind of when I had my first child, I remember being passed over for a promotion that I totally deserved, just not being put on challenging assignments, and people assuming I didn't want to travel, all these weird things. And it's just like, but there has to be more to life than that. And so when you leave a baby at home, you want to do something
Yeah.
purposeful with your life, your time.
Yeah.
And you're choosing something over like the most important thing on your child. And so I think that's where a lot of women kind of get stuck. It's like, this doesn't feel like I could muster through it before, but now I have other priorities and this just doesn't feel like it's the right fit for me. And so
Yeah.
that's when I started Next Pivot Point 10 years ago. My daughter was 1. I was a primary breadwinner. It was never an ideal time to start a business, but
No.
10 years later, we're still surviving. It has been a very weird year, as people can imagine. So if you've heard about DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, our president seems to have real issue with. Not sure he knows what it is, but it's a whole nother story.
Well, for him,
So-
it's just the letters, right? It's DEI. Like, because if you talk about why diversity is a good thing, inclusion is a good like, but you just call it DEI and it's easy to just discount, right?
Yep.
Ugh.
And I think where people go is like hiring quotas,
Right.
aspirational goals, even that felt
Yeah.
like we were just promoting people with diverse identities and not dominant group members, which has never been the intent of DEI
No.
work. But I
No.
do think there was some misguidance over the last few years in particular. And so we're the lawyers are having a field day
Yeah.
with inside companies right now. But from what I can tell, most of the legal reviews have been completed since the executive order was in January. So I think they're figuring out quickly, like, oh, everything we were doing was legal. Could have told you that in January, but they needed to do their legal comb. And it's like, actually, the bigger risk is like discrimination lawsuits and really harmful things happening are way more costly than doing DEI work.
Yeah.
And so it's just helping reframe, but that we're in a rebranding moment, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, and the pendulum always swings the other way before it finds its center point. But the pendulum, it's more like a Rorschach test right now.
It's like off the hinges. Like, I don't even know where it is. Like when it swings back. And most of the data shows us, regardless of your political affiliation, your religion, all sorts of barriers that people create for DEI work. Like you said, diversity is a fact. It just simply exists. America is an extremely diverse country made of immigrants, whether we like it or not. That is a fact. The workplace is going to be predominantly people of color by 2030. So I don't know what the shenanigans are going on right now, because if y'all don't get with the program and get inclusive, you are not going to find talent, let alone retain them in just a few years' time.
Yeah, because it's both sides, right? It's like, please hire the people, but it's also, and create a culture where they're going to feel included, or we, I suppose, because I'm one of those minorities, where we're going to feel included and supported and allowed to grow and thrive.
Want to stay. What's the point of hiring if people don't stay? And so we need to work on the inclusion piece first.
Yes.
So
exactly.
And that's what most companies are doing. What I'm finding with my clients is they're quietly doing the work. They're not putting it on big billboards or websites like they were 5 years ago.
They're not allowed to, or they'll be sued. Sorry.
Yeah. They can, but you don't want to draw that kind of attention. I mean, look at Harvard, right? Like, that's a lot of attention. And a lot of bravery. You need a lot of money, sadly, in these legal shenanigans. So I think companies, they're just taking their risks of mind, doing the good work that they were doing. Employee resource groups are exploding right now. So I'm doing a lot of talks with, women's groups, allyship groups. A lot of companies are starting allyship, employee resource groups. So all of those things. And like what you talked about with age, and that is a function of diversity too. So we're all in this diversity puzzle You don't have
Exactly.
to be quote unquote historically marginalized group for this to matter. We're all going to find ourselves in this work. So we need to make the workplace work for everyone.
Exactly. Now you work a lot within organizations and allyship and creating cultures, but let's back up a little bit. You say allyship is a verb. So can we talk about what allyship actually is and what it looks like, maybe some actions that people can take to increase inclusion? Like let's back up. Describe allyship as a verb.
Yeah. And the grammar police, I know it's a noun, but allying it, however you want to say it, is a verb. And verb is both and. This work is very paradoxical, so people just get hung up on the silliest things. But
I know.
it's not perfect. We're progress over perfection. And allyship is action. It doesn't matter. It's not a self-proclamation. You can't say I'm an ally, or even I use words like I'm striving to be an ally. I want to be an ally. Help me understand how to be an ally. But never have I arrived at being an ally. An
Oh,
ally supports people that are different from themselves, have different lived experience, different identities. And when I think about the strongest relationships I've had where I learned the most, one of them right now is my mentor of 10 years since I started my business.
Yeah.
Lorraine Ball, got to give a shout out to her. She's an amazing marketer
Go,
and
Lorraine.
genius. And she's going through some health things right now. And she's, semi-retired, I would say. Sold her business, and I spend time with her, try to at least a couple times a month, and just really listen to her and understand her experiences. She's got 30 years more of life that she can teach me. So that's what allyship is. It's like helping people that have different perspectives, and we learn more from people with different perspectives.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that because I know, especially with DEI, I mean, pre what's going on now, but and even now, it's like you do hear a lot of people going, I'm an ally. And I really like that distinction. And I've probably said it before too, honestly. So I'm striving to be. Yeah.
Inspiration.
Yeah. I'm inspired. I'm striving. Yeah, no, that's pretty powerful. Oh man. So tell me, speaking of striving to be an ally, you founded the International Allyship Day. Is that right?
Yeah.
That's freaking awesome.
Oh, thank you. It's every August. So it is an official day. There's actually an official day on the official calendar, August 8th every year. And so that was something last year. We had a client that was really interested in allyship and wanted to sponsor it. And so we had people from all over the world. We truly made it international and had folks come from like South America and met in New York City. And it just was a great day where we could pour into each other. It's about connection. It's about story sharing. It's about, research, new research. So we have some different universities participating this year. And I'm just excited we need to know there's more of us than them right now. They're trying to scare us, make us think.
So true.
There's just not. My favorite study right now, we have Coco speaking at the program. They did a study on white men, and they asked them about DEI and the perceptions of DEI. And I think people would be shocked to know that 90% of them want DEI or want to do something. They just don't know how. They're either persuadable or all in. And then 10% are naysayers. So why are we focused on this noisy 10%?
Right. And we always are. We're always focusing on things. Well, it's the algorithm, because the powers that be want us to think one way. And so they're manipulating the algorithm. I think we can all agree that is no longer a conspiracy theory.
Right. Right.
Well, and we're recording this at the end of June, and it's probably not going to get aired until August. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens between now and August 8th when, International Allyship Day, when this airs. Hopefully, Steve, this will air. 8th or near to it.
And it's also exciting this year. I have a new book coming out that same day to celebrate allyship.
Oh, very cool. So tell us about the book. I mean, you're really leading a movement here, I feel like.
I appreciate that. I hope so. I keep holding out hope for people. It's been a little quiet lately, but after the election, I really was, it's like, I'm curious, like, why, how did this happen? I was so shocked. Because I've been
Yeah,
hiding in my
word.
own echo chamber, probably like a lot of folks. Like,
Yeah,
think
yeah,
everyone thinks like you and they don't.
exactly. And they don't.
Bummer.
Unfortunately. No,
So I
fortunately.
got,
I mean, I don't know.
whenever I get conflicted, I try. I try as hard to stay curious and not judgmental.
Yeah.
And I was pretty angry, but thought, okay, I'm going to do some new research on. Originally, I just want to update my book from 2017, my book about how men can support women for gender equality as allies.
Yeah. I love
And
that.
that book did really well with male leaders in corporate America because they were like, whoa, I had no idea this was a thing. Oh, yeah, of course I'd want to be more inclusive.
Yeah.
And so I did research and I did about 50 hours of interviews and 60 different citations in the book from different articles and studies. And what I really found is that the people that we need as allies, the people in positions of power, do not understand their power and how to use it. They don't even realize they have it because it's invisible. And then they're extremely afraid of making a mistake. They're afraid of their status threat. They're afraid of being relevant. They're
Yeah.
afraid of kind of rooting against themselves.
Yeah.
They've heard bad stories. And so they're just like,
Yeah.
no, that DEI stuff's not for me.
Yeah.
And I've read so many DEI books. There's so many wonderful ones. It's been such a blessing this last 5 years. But there's not one written for people with power. And so I was like, well,
Right.
if I want to write something that I think is really necessary right now, and I really think we need people with power to speak up so much right now
Yeah.
because they're done differently. They can resource things. They can make
Mhm.
decisions that impact others. And so when we engage them in the conversation, we're going to be way more successful. So
Yeah.
it's just this conundrum of we need them. They don't think we need them. So I affectionately titled the book, We Want You, kind of like Uncle Sam. But Uncle Sam's a mosaic, not the Uncle Sam image that you're
Yeah.
used
Yeah.
to.
Not an old white guy.
Yeah, right.
That looks like
Because people are
Steve.
like, I don't think that's really what you're going for. And it's like, yes, I am. It's kind of sarcastic.
Exactly.
It's a guide, really. It's a step-by-step guide. There's 9 steps. There's exercises in each chapter.
That's
And a
awesome.
workbook that you can go along if you really want to map out your whole plan. There's individual actions to team actions to organizational actions. So any corporate leader, I mean, I think women can obviously benefit from this book too. You don't have to be a white man to read the
Right.
book.
Right. Exactly.
But if you've read other DEI books, it might be a little repetitive because it is meant to summarize those books
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
this audience. But I'm really encouraging people to do like book swaps. So get
That's
a copy,
awesome.
get 2 copies and read it together. Maybe with somebody
Yeah.
that doesn't get it, that could get it. A little nudge, a little
Nudge,
invitation.
nudge.
Yeah. Hint, hint.
Maybe buy it for
hopefully
your
it's good.
spouse if your spouse is male.
Yeah. And, my husband is like, this is my partner. I love him to death, but he never
Yeah.
reads my book. And so I was like, this one you're going to read. This one. He's helped me a lot over the years. Actually, the original book about male allyship, he coined the title one.
Oh, cool.
So he's been a great ally for me. But, it is because he'll tell some stories or things that happened to me or other people. And like, no, that would never happen. Like, no, not to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. When I interview women and they tell me their stories and kind of their pivotal point and their aha moments, I feel like sometimes we're still in the 1950s. And I was like you. I didn't have a single mom, but she would never call herself, but she was a feminist, she was a university professor. She was the breadwinner in our family, which I didn't actually find out until after she passed away. She always told me there was nothing I couldn't do, and so I was like you. I grew up like that. And then I get into the workforce and I'm told, you laugh too loud, you smile too much. Have you ever considered wearing a skirt? Like, are you fucking kidding me right now? I mean, ew. And I'm not talking like back in the 80s and 90s. I'm talking like 3 years ago. It's nuts. It's crazy. But But things have changed over the past 10 years. So tell me a little bit, like, how have your views matured, changed over the past 10 years? What did allyship used to mean, and what does it mean now because of things that are going on?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think so 10 years ago, DEI was not an acronym we used
Right.
very much at all. I'm
No.
not aware of it surfacing until 2020. It could have been around before that. I should know this, but my experience working with corporate leaders 10 years ago, I started, I'm a white woman, so
Yeah.
straight, able-bodied, all the things. So I was like, well, I guess I'll talk about gender because that's my lived experience.
Yeah.
Well, then I quickly realized, like year 2, it was very obvious that women of color were having a very different experience.
Very different.
And LGBTQ, all
Oh,
these
yeah.
other conversations were starting to bubble up.
Yeah.
At the same time that people were engaging is like, I want to be helpful. I want to be supportive, even though it's not my issue. I want to be supportive of other people's issues.
Mhm.
And so that's where my allyship work was born. And we didn't even have a word for it. Allyship was not very common back then.
No.
People didn't use it in the workplace for sure. And so I think most people think of like war references.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly. Truly. No, exactly.
And
The
so
allies.
that, yeah. And so I just, again, got curious. Is like, what does it take to be an ally? Like, what word do we use? So I was using like advocate or champion.
Right.
If I'm ally, still get a lot of pushback with the term. It's not the official, but that is the word that I feel like most people find to be okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was like 8 years ago when I first started writing and researching allyship. And at that time, I was finding people with D and I, so diversity and inclusion in their title, and employee resource groups at big companies to speak at. So those were the people that would hire me to speak or buy a bunch of books. And so that's where I spent most of my time. And then 2020, of course.
Yeah.
Holy smokes. George Floyd's murder. DEI becomes a household term. My phone had literally stopped ringing from the pandemic and is ringing off the hook that summer. And I was like, y'all, this is not an unusual event that happened. I'm not sure what caused this, but
Right.
and then everyone was like, let's talk anti-racism. Like, are you sure? Because I'm not even sure you're doing the basics yet. Like, that's like jumping in the deep end. Like, go to the baby pool first. Can you just start? So I think just, it's easy to see in hindsight, but we really did overdo it, I think. And not because we wanted to, because people thought they were way more ready than they actually were.
Right.
So that's
exactly.
this
Well, the
backlash,
woke
pushback.
culture, right? So we went, the pendulum, and now woke is bad. And, and I'm just like, it's like DEI is bad, woke is bad. I'm like, no, it's not. But there's this 10% of influencers that maybe make it icky, but like, it's really a good thing to be woke.
I know, like it really bothers me. Like Elon saying DEI must die. He's autistic. Like what? What?
I know.
Like you would benefit from this. I mean, I know you're plenty rich, but it seems like the people that we should have on our side are not. And I don't know if that's just because there's like wounds they haven't dealt with or therapy they need to go to. That's them thing. But usually if you just ask me, really, what makes you say that? Or like, what did you hear? What is it? They almost always like recoil and like, well, I actually don't really know what it is. I'm like, do you mind if I share with you what I think it means?
Yeah.
And then you have a conversation, and I've had it happen so many times where people are like, oh, well, that's not so bad. I'm like, be curious. Be just a little more curious. Like, we need people to be in a little bit more right now.
Exactly. Oh, my gosh. Exactly. Well, I am so excited. New book coming out on International Allyship Day. I'm assuming, is it on it's launching the same day? Yeah, of course. I mean, duh. So on another note, like, what are you loving right now? What's, because it's a heavy topic and it's so needful, but what's something fun? What's jazzing you up right now?
That's good coaching because I definitely need a dose of fun. 2025 has been, I thought 2020 was bad. It's like, whoa.
I know, right?
Rough year. But in all seriousness, I mentioned I'm teaching at the Kelly School
Yeah,
at
yeah.
Indiana University, and so our family is moving to Bloomington from northern Indianapolis. So not too far, but I'm really excited about being in a university town with
Nice.
open-minded folks and a lot of
Yes.
diversity. And, being a professor, my daughter's starting school down there, which I think will just be a more inclusive environment for her. There's a lot of eligibility up here, which gives you resources, but not always the right ones. So kind of want to get her out of this. And my
Fun.
4-year-old is autistic, so really want to get her in an environment. So I already met Jane, my 11-year-old, her soccer coach, is autism researcher at the university. I was like, okay, like,
There we go.
serendipity, like just beam me down there. So we're in the process of moving, so it's got me jazzed up right now, stressed and jazzed.
Yeah. It's always fun. I mean, I did it a lot when I was younger. But yeah, just the newness, somewhere new influences, new culture, new opportunities. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's just a reset, a change of scenery, strengthen my relationship with my partner. This has just been so much stress on top of stress for us, financially and with the business this year, that really need just a change. We need to change something, and this is a good catalyst for us. Still got to do the work. It's always a journey, right?
Yeah.
Maintaining relationships. But, if doing the work I do, people say that, oh, it's really heavy. And it's like helping other people. Like, that's literally what I'm teaching people. I'm like, I don't feel like that's heavy at all. That's just an expectation of being a human being.
Exactly.
But not everyone gets it, to your point.
Right.
And
the
helping
work's not
people-
heavy, but the culture that you're embedded in is,
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you're fighting all these systems, all these invisible headwinds. And so much of it's education, awareness. People don't know what they don't know about this. And so if you just take that lens of like, I've read 50 DEI books. Other people have not read one,
Right.
maybe
Exactly.
valid-
Exactly. Well, thank you so much. Is there anything else that you would like people to know?
I have a bunch of free training tools on my website and the book.
Excellent.
So if you want to support We Want You, all the info is right at nextpivotpoint.com. So
You could see it in
check
her
it out.
background. Next pivot.
you can get
Nextpivotpoint.com. There we go.
You can get a book if you want. There's a downloadable workbook on the website, and there's a free allyship training that you can use at your organization too. So try to be generous.
Everyone should watch that and share it.
Yes.
That's
Is it done
amazing.
for you? Meeting, if you are looking for a resource for your next team meeting, watch the video and come prepared to discuss, kind of thing. So I'm really thankful that we have an opportunity to share tools with folks, and I'm excited about the book and just getting into hands of people with power. So think about people with power in your life that could benefit.
That's amazing. Well, congratulations. And I'll be seeing you on International Allyship Day.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
Awesome. Thank you so much.